gonna pop my screen off because I'm gonna be um, looking to the side the whole time. So, but now you know you've seen my face and you know that I'm a real human. So, we're gonna start off at the Career Center homepage. So, um, our virtual career fairs are all hosted on Titan Connection. So if you've used Titan Connection before, this could be a comfortable space for you already. But if you haven't, don't worry because it's not that tricky to navigate. So if you've never used Titan Connection before, the way you access it is you just go to the Career Center homepage, and that's fullerton.edu/career. And then you're going to want to go to the Students tab and then navigate down to Titan Connection, Jobs, and Internships. You're going to want to skip this first button and then go straight to View Jobs and Internships on Titan Connection. And from here, you're going to log in using the credentials that you would to access your email, your student portal, any other portal thing that you do. So let me just log in real quick. All right, so if you've never used Titan Connection before, you might need to answer a few questions before getting to this page. Just some registration type questions, your major, that sort of thing. But once you do all of that, we'll all end up in the same place, and this is the homepage for Titan Connection. The first thing that we want to do is to make sure that all of your information is up to date in Titan Connection, because all of the information that the person you'll be speaking with will be drawn out of Titan Connection. So we want to make sure your Titan Connection info is up to date. So the way that you're going to do that is you're going to go up to this top right corner and you're going to find the button that has your initials in it and click it. And you're going to go to personal information next. So here you'll see a form with a lot of different information. The only things you really need to focus on are the ones with the red asterisk. So make sure that those are up to date. And then just a little highlight on the email here, make sure that this is an email that you check really regularly. And that you might even have up during the fair. And the reason for that is once you RSVP for this fair, it puts you on a list that every recruiter who will be participating in the fair can search by. So they can search by different discipline, different credential, and then they can send you an email based off of the criteria that they're looking for in a recruit. So it will go to this email address. So make sure that's a nice and current one that you check often and the one you might have up during the fair. So you might get some invites from schools you weren't even on your radar, right? The rest of this information you don't have to have filled out all the way, just the stuff with the red asterisk. But the more information that you do give Titan Connection, the better that it will work for you. So it'll recommend opportunities, jobs, internships based off of the information that you give it. And then when you're done, just make sure to hit save at the bottom or again up at the top, just to make sure that your progress isn't lost. The next thing you're going to want to do is update the academic information. So you'll just click that next tab over here from personal to academic, and you just want to update this information as well. GPA you can list or you can leave it off. I don't think that I don't believe it's pulled up for recruiters, so they won't be able to see it unless you have it somewhere else, like on your resume. But we're kind of seeing by and large recruiters are trending away from hiring based off of GPA. So if you're proud of it, then you can list it. But if not, there's no need to. Make sure your graduation date is updated. That will be important for recruiters to know, as well as your year in school. If you're currently registered, you're going to want to pick currently registered. If you're attending classes right now, if you've already graduated, of course, you'll pick alumni. Then you're going to want to list your majors or any of your concentrations. I would say your minor as well. So anything that you study should pop up here just so that they know that you have exposure to that area of study. Work authorization will be particularly important, and your degree level. I want to highlight the year in school before we move to. Sometimes this will move with you. So as you move from like a junior to a senior or a sophomore to a junior, sometimes that will follow you, but it doesn't always. So make sure that this is the right year in school, because some recruiters will be looking particularly for juniors or particularly for seniors. So make sure that that's updated. And then again, you can give it more information, especially this stuff will get you good recommended jobs or tailored recommended jobs. And then just hit save at the bottom. All right, so now that's all the information that you need to update. So now we are ready to get to the actual virtual career fair platform. So I just navigated back to the home page just for simplicity's sake. But in order to get to the career fair, you're going to want to go to this left-hand side menu here. And then under events, you're going to click career fairs. Now this will be a whole list. It's going to show you a whole list of all of the fairs that we have left for the semester. But so like on the 16th, you're going to want to pick the virtual teacher job fair. But for purposes of testing today, just to show you what it looks like, I'm going to be clicking this test fair. So this is the fair. If the fair was a room, it would be this room. So this is going to be the page you're going to see for most of the fair. You'll see it goes straight to an overview tab. So just a little bit about the teacher job fair that you probably already know, the duration in case it slipped your mind. And then, so that's the overview tab. And then you'll see an employers tab as well. So this will be a complete list of all of the employers or all of the schools that will be at the teacher job fair. Again, this is just a test account. So there's only 2 here, and they're both just kind of empty dummy accounts for demonstration purposes. There'll be a lot more than just 2 for the teacher job fair, of course. But this will be where the whole list of everyone who's participating will be under the employers tab. So this is where you can kind of look. Each employer has a little blurb. So like this one is going to be the one that we're working with today, Lorraine's Test Company. You can see it says how many representatives are online and then an estimated wait time. So this is really just more of a math problem than anything. Employers can pick however long they want each chat with each student to last, and they can choose from anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. So it'll be however long they want their chat to go times however many people are in front of you in line, right? So we notice a trend that recruiters tend to max out their time just to play it safe. They list 15 minutes, but it doesn't mean that every conversation is going to last that 15 minutes. So this is really a rough estimate. So if you see like an ungodly wait time, then it may just be a matter of having a lot of people in the line. However, if you are in someone's line and it's a super long wait time and you don't see it changing at all, please let us know. And I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. But let us know, because that could mean that there's something going on the employer end of anything. Let me just take a moment to check the chat. Okay, great. If I forgot to mention earlier, if I'm going too fast or if I'm going too slow, please feel free to let me know. If you have questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat and I'll be happy to answer them as I go. Okay, so we were on the blurbs for each employer. So this is kind of like the mini blurb, but if you click the company's name, you get a little bit more information about them. So this is going to be a larger about section. They've got their a link to their website. You can see their profile on Titan Connection, and this is my favorite part. You can see all of the jobs that they have listed in Titan Connection. Now, this is, again, it's going to be a dummy account, so this doesn't have any jobs, but if they had any positions posted, they would show up in a list here, and you can even apply for those positions directly from Titan Connection. So that's a cool thing. I'll show you that with a real employer account a little bit later on. So you'll notice that there are a couple of different ways I'm seeing, how do we get to that page again? I like to right click and say open in a new tab on this view all jobs link. So that's how I got to that. So you can see that there are a couple of ways that you can meet up with an employer. So the first way is just like at an in-person fair, where you'll be finding an employer you want to speak with and you join their line. So that will be for a one-on-one chat. And to do that, you just click this join queue button. And that's how you join the line for a one-on-one chat with a recruiter. So once you're in the line, you can see that this upcoming video chats list starts to populate. You can be in up to 5 lines with 5 different employers at a time, which is really cool, a great way to maximize your time, and definitely not something that you would be able to pull off at an in-person fair, right? So I'd recommend, if you want to make the most of your time, see a lot of people, to keep this upcoming video chats queue at 5 the whole time. Best way to see as many people as you can. So from there, you're just, once this is up to 5, you're in all of the lines that you want to be in. It's just going to be kind of a waiting game for when the recruiter is ready to speak to you. Employers can't skip anyone in line, so it's truly first come first serve. So you're just kind of waiting in line at this point. And when an employer is ready to speak with you, it will look like this. Let me show you, sorry. That's what it looks like. So there, you'll get a little bling and you'll get a little notification up here. Are you seeing this little Lorraine's Test Company is ready to chat? Perfect. Okay. So once you see that, you'll just click join chat and then it'll kick you to this page. Now, there are a few things to notice on this page. First, probably the most urgent thing that you see is the timer. So this tells you how long this employer is expecting to speak with you. So this one is set up at 5 minutes. There is there's no, like, okay, so you, okay, sorry. They can extend the time if they need to, but I mean, it could go longer than 5 minutes is what I mean. So then the next most important thing is the video chat instructions. So this is going to be the first time that you're seeing someone with the link, like the actual platform that they're using. Does that make sense? So this person's using Zoom. Now, employers can use whichever video conferencing platform that they choose. Now, that's super nice for employers, but it does mean a little bit of extra work on the student end. And this is the first time you'll be seeing it, and the clock is ticking. So it can be kind of stressful. But we do say to recruiters, you know, like, imagine the first time that you were using this platform. How long did it take you to get it working, and to just give students a little bit of grace that way. We also do compile a list of all of the platforms that employers will be using, and we advertise it on our Instagram, and I'll also give that list to Miguel. So we try and do that like 1 or 2 days before the fair, just to give you a good idea of what platforms to be used to. What's important here is whatever platform they use, once you click that link, it'll open in a new window. And simplicity, so this Titan connection and like Zoom in this case aren't going to talk to each other. So you're going to have to end the chat in both places. There's a little end chat button here. You can end the chat if you choose to. We generally recommend that you wait for the recruiter to end the chat, because you never know if they have just like one more thing to say, or if they want to advertise one more event to you. You just never know. So you have the power to, if at any point you're feeling uncomfortable. Of course, that's not what we want to happen at all, and please let us know if that's the case. You do have the power to do it, but by and large, we recommend that you allow the employer to do so. And when that happens, it will look like this. Sorry, my computer is disagreeing with me right now. Does that ever happen to you?
All the time.
All the time? Okay, there it is. Just a little pop-up window that says this chat is ended. So you just click close, and then it kicks you to a window where you can take down some notes about the conversation. I highly, highly recommend that you use this feature, because we do recommend that you send thank you notes to everyone that you speak to at the fair. This is just a great way to keep you on that recruiter's radar, fresh in their mind. So take some detailed notes about what you're saying, about what the conversation was like, so you can reference this later and say, hey, my name's Haley. We met at the Teacher Jobs Fair at Cal State Fullerton. I enjoyed our conversation about this topic, and I look forward to continuing this conversation, right? So you can submit those notes, and then it keeps a list of all of the video chats that you've had over the course of the fair, and you can access these until June, so until the very end of the year. So if this is next week, the week after the fair, you can click in and say, oh, who did I talk to? Oh, it was Lorraine. Here's her email. Here is what I'm going to write my thank you note about. So it makes it nice and easy that way. That will be, by and large, what your fair day is going to look like. There's another way. So I told you there are 2 ways to speak with employers at the fair. That was the join queue option for a one-on-one chat. There are also group chats. So some recruiters will be using the group chat function. I think we usually recommend that those happen earlier on in the day. The only way that you can see whether or not an employer is going to be doing group chats is when you click on them. So you'll see this one's only doing group chats, and then this one is doing both, right? So when you click that group chat button, it will show a schedule of when all of the group chats are happening along with the Zoom link. So if you just say, oh, I'm not really sure that I'm like full in for this school district, but I do kind of want to hear their spiel, see what they're about, see what they're looking for. It's kind of a low risk way to just come and get some information about that employer and see if it'd be a good fit. So there's the join queue, so for a one-on-one chat, and there's a group chat option for that group chat. The other thing that's really cool is this little star feature too. It's when you hover over it, it says mark interested most of the time. There it is. And this is a way to tell an employer that you are definitely interested in speaking with them at the fair. Earlier on, I had told you that employers can search all of the students who have RSVP'd for this fair. And they can search by different criteria like your major, your credentials, things like that. But they can also search by people who have marked interest in speaking with them. So that's just another thing that you can do to get on these recruiters' radar. I'm going to take just a quick pause to look through some of the questions. Being in line for more than one interview, you totally can. I do want to say that these are not interviews. We really try and drive that home with our recruiters as well. It's a chat, it's a professional interaction. It's something that it works best if you prepare for it like a professional interaction, but it's not an interview. So don't think that you're going to be coming in and having 15 interviews in a day. It's just 15 professional chats in a day, and that would be a very productive day at the fair. Okay, so let's see. Yes. Okay. Michelle, great question. Can you repeat what you said about ending the chat? Do we have to leave the Zoom meeting before we end the chat? Yes. So the employer will usually end the chat, and then at that point, you're going to want to make sure that you're out of their Zoom meeting or their WebEx meeting or their Google Meets meeting as well. This is something that we really highlight with recruiters as well to make sure, that they know that Titan Connection and their video conferencing platform don't talk to each other. Sometimes some employers get it and some don't, so they might need your help there as well. Just make sure that you're ending it in Titan Connection. You're also ending it in the Zoom meeting or Google Hangs. Oh, great question, Rachel. When talking to an employer, how do we present our cover letters and resumes? That's a very, very good question. And I actually can't believe that I skipped this part. I do these demos a lot, and I went straight to the meat of it. Before you get into the employer list, before you do that join queue thing, you're going to want to go to this chat profile first. This should be the first thing that you do when you hit this page. Go to the chat profile, and then you're going to want to open up the status. So there are 3 statuses here: online, busy, and offline. For the majority of the fair, you're going to want to be online. That tells employers that you're here, you're at your computer, you're ready to chat. You can also upload a resume here. So if you have a resume already uploaded on Titan Connection, it'll pop up in this little pull down menu here, and you can select whichever one you'd like. If you don't have one, you just click this little add new button, and you can walk through how to add a new document here. Make sure you give it a nice descriptive label, because like you saw in that big old list, there are a million career center 123 to 900, and that can be kind of hard to keep track of. So you can upload your resume and cover letter here, and then it will appear in this chat profile for you to select, and then employers will be able to see your resume that way. A couple other of the statuses. Busy. This is best used when you need to step away for a little bit, but you'll be back. This keeps your place in line. It shows employers that you're gonna be back eventually. You're just not available to chat right now. So if you get to like the top of an employer's line, so you'd be at the front of the line and you're busy, they're not going to be able to chat with you, but they'll just go to the person underneath you until you're ready to chat. So you're not going to lose your place in line. The third status is offline. This is when you're done with the fair for the day. It's really important that when you're done, when you're ready to step away from your computer, you switch to offline and you hit save before you leave. Because if not, and you're still online, you're going to be kind of like a ghost to the employer. So they may try to chat with you. You're not at your computer. They have no way of knowing. And then they try and chat with you, and there's no one on the other end. So make sure that you go ahead and hit offline before it'll pull you out of any other queues that you may have been in. So if there's one employer that is just taking too long and you have to move on, it'll pull you out of that line, no problem, and hit save. So yeah, you just want to make sure you're online before you start chatting and you're offline when you're done chatting. And then that's also through the chat profile how you'll pass a resume through to a recruiter. So great question, Rachel. Another thing about this busy status, we get this question all the time, what if I'm talking with Lorraine's test company, I'm in a chat and I get a request from the career center. What do I do? Like, will I end my first conversation and go straight to the second, or what happens? Simplicity, when you're in a meeting with an employer, it will automatically toggle your status to busy. So any like when you're at the front of any other employer's line, you're going to show up as busy, so they won't be able to chat with you. So you won't get that like, two people want to talk to me at once, this is awkward type of a thing. So I believe that that's all that I have to show you. I hope that wasn't totally confusing. I'm seeing a question for
A few folks, maybe. Yeah, cool, awesome. So yeah, for folks, whenever you go into doing a mock interview or anything like that, you have different options. You can do things like you can meet with somebody else whom you know to be a mock interviewer, or you can have something else where you can go into the career center and do a mock interview in person. But outside of that, if you don't have any opportunities to practice with another individual, the next best option definitely is also to practice interviewing using a recording and watching yourself afterwards. Because for me, I really think that when you're doing a mock, I'm doing a practicing for an interview, it's also good to watch yourself and see what your habits are, see what kind of words that filler words that you use, how you respond to answers and questions and things like that. So constantly practicing and watching a recording of yourself can be very important. So we kind of wanted to share with y'all a resource that we have here at the Career Center called Interview Stream, which is a application used to actually record yourself and watch yourself again while performing a mock interview. So in order to find Interview Stream, you'll go ahead and go into our Students tab right here, and there's a bunch of different tabs underneath this under the Students tab, but you'll go into Interviewing. And the interviewing option, there's a bunch of really great resources for you all, like webinars, tips, interview attire tips as well. But what you're going to be looking for is the last tab in the corner right here called Interview Stream. So you go ahead and click on that. So I already have mine open, so I'll just switch to the next tab. So it's going to be Interview Stream. It's going to look a lot like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and make a profile using your Fullerton email. It's connected to your Fullerton email, and you have some different options that are listed over here. It'll say things like conduct an interview, watch my interview, and also a mobile interview if you do want to do a mobile interview via your phone if you don't have access to a laptop or computer. So we'll go ahead and show y'all through conduct an interview what it's going to look like. And it's going to give you two different options. So it's going to say either take a pre-made interview or take a custom interview. So we have a lot of pre-made interviews for different industries that you can take. That is a pre-made interview. We highly recommend that if it's your first time using Interview Stream, go ahead and take a look at the pre-made interviews. So if you do click on the pre-made interview option, go ahead and let it load. We have different interviews listed for different industries, that you can see. So we do have some available for different types of programs, different types of schools as well too. But if none of these match your style, you can go ahead and move over. I'll go ahead and go back to the other options. to do a custom interview. And this custom interview is you can pre-select your questions and you can create your own options that are available here as well. And it's split up again by different types of industries and businesses. So if you go ahead and go down to education, we do have different ones that are listed. For example, child and family education, elementary school, general education as well too. And for the sakes of demonstration, I'll go ahead and just click the general education questions, and we have a bunch of questions listed under here. And if you're interested, you'll go ahead and just add the question onto your pre-selected questions, and you'll go ahead and start your interview. And in this interview stream, you're going to go ahead and do a hardware check, and the actual interview, an introduction, and then go through the questions. You'll have a mock interviewer right behind you. That's going to actually be a recording of another individual that's going to ask you the question, and then you'll get a 3, 2, 1 count, and you'll go ahead and repeat and answer the question, and then you can move on to the next question after that. So that's pretty much interview stream in a nutshell. Does anyone have any questions?
Does he give you like examples of like what you could say or what words to use in your interviews?
Repeat your question, please.
Does that give you like examples of what like verbiage to use or like suggestions of possible answers or no?
Not necessarily. So this is more of an opportunity for you to watch yourself being recorded. But you can schedule an appointment though with one of our career coaches or specialists, and we can actually work with you alongside looking over your interview stream as well too. So you can schedule an appointment to get a review as well too. Any other questions?